2024, here we are. Here we are. We made it. We're still here. AJ's house, baby. We're still good. Today I've got music curator, hey, music producer, songwriter, music composer. Yeah. And he calls himself the music man. Make some noise. Brother, how you doing?
I'm easy, bro. I'm easy, bro. That feels like Shay's intro to Cat Williams. So.
Hey, but we are not on that tip at all today. Hey, unless you want to spill, I won't stop you. But
thanks for having me, man.
Of course, man. Yeah. Thank you for coming through and sharing such a magical set. My crew, none of them are really Afro house, even house people. Yeah. The one guy is Nigerian. He does the Afro beat and some like traditional stuff. Yeah. The other one is a rapper, and Marapama 2000. It's not hip hop. I don't know what it is, but it's trap or it's heavy. But when music like yours is able to move them, I get excited, man. I get very excited. Sure. Thank you for coming through, dog. I was saying finally because we've been trying to have this interview
since. Because last year, just to put things straight, last year you invited me twice. Yeah. And I remember the second time, I felt so shitty because when I was prepared to come on, I then get a call from the KZN Philharmonic Orchestra because I'm sure we're going to talk about it later. The stuff that I'm doing with them, and obviously there's certain commitments that I have with them, like annually, you know. And I feel so bad because I with house music, we need platforms like these. You know, I support platforms like these because of the work people like you are doing. I feel like there's so much that people need to know. What happens behind the scenes, etc. You know, it's not just the music, but what transpires when someone is making music? Why are we making music? Why are we even here? You know what I'm saying? So for you to have platforms like these where we can tell our stories, you know, because we can all play, but not everyone has got the opportunity to tell their own stories their own way. So
why do I play?
Big up to you, man.
Why am I style to say? Thank you so much, man. And big up to you too, because this platform has grown, you know, organically. I keep telling people, and it's because of people that are willing to also take their time to share their stories, you know, and help us in promoting overall the whole movement. But before we even get into anything, I still call you Music Man, dog, because I don't know your name, and I'm like, sure, Music Man. No, Music Man. I'm just like, why am I calling you Music Man? Introduction: who you are, where you from?
Joe. In short, Mbuso. Yeah, right. Mbuso. I know a lot of people back at home. Before the Music Man story, you know, they used to call me DJ Mbuso, and I was like, but there's only one DJ Mbuso, you know, because at the time, I think the beauty about my career is that I was behind the scenes for the longest period. You know, I went to TUT in Pretoria. I started there. I think that's where I fell in love with house music, you know.
How long ago was this?
Man,
without exposing
I know. It's my birthday today, actually.
Happy birthday! Yes, of course,
we should be having a short. Yeah, it's my birthday today. I look younger by the
shorts in there. Let's just get it started.
There's actually a photo I posted on my WhatsApp story yesterday, and I said this was 7 years ago, and you know a few people were like, "No ways," because you still look the same. You know? I'm turning 40 this year.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's my 40th.
Okay.
So I've been around. So I went to TUT. It was 2006, 7. You know, that's another story for another day. But the culture that I saw there. Remember, growing up, my parents took me to music school. You know, I was taught that's where I was taught how to compose, how to read music, how to write music from a young age, from a young tender age. You know, so then when I got exposed to house music, I'm sure that's why even with the set. You noticed there's a set that I played, and you were saying you're hearing a lot of orchestral elements to the music. It's because as a kid, I played in an orchestra. So from grade 6, in our days we call it standard 4.
So you don't call yourself Music Man?
Nah, in fact, I didn't give myself that name. You know, I remember because I used to do events a lot. I still do, and I was hosting in Durban, and this guy comes to me and is like, "Man, the way you play, what do they call you? And at the time, I was just curating. I was just, putting things together, DJs together. Let's have a vibe and create a culture in Durban. Because at the time, Gqom was at the highest peak, So no one was competing with Gqom. Like, organic house music was not even a thing. And then I came from Pretoria, and I was like, guys, but there can't be me and you who wants to listen to this vibe. So let's create our own thing. And then we built a community from there. And then I played a set. And back in the day, I was not even like committed to being a DJ, And this guy was like, man, who do we call you? I'm like, no, I don't have a stage name, And he's like, this is crazy. You are the music man. I think for the first time, because I had been looking for like a name. Because I knew that one day, because of the gift, man, I knew that one day I'd be a DJ, and I knew that like the capabilities that I had. I mean, facts, man. I only became committed, like full time, to doing music this way. I think it was 2014. Even though I had been in the scene from back in the day, like I remember in TUT, I used to do parties. I stayed at Heights. Shout out to Abanbase Heights. They know. We used to rock there. So I used to do parties there at school, and I used to, fool around with Amalo Kunjan. I'm a controller, until China, actually. I must shout out to DJ China. China saw the movement I had in Durban. It was like, Muso, I don't know if you understand the gift you have, And I was like, I know, but, because for me, it was not, how can I put it? I didn't want to commit to the actual industry. I enjoyed doing it, but I didn't want to be in the industry. If I'm making sense. Yeah. China held me like this. I remember we're in the hotel. I was hosting him actually. I booked him.
Okay, nice.
He's like, dude, what happened last night? Did you see the people? Did you see the reaction? Why aren't you taking this thing seriously? I was like, but I am taking it seriously. It's just that because I was still doing a 9 to 5, and he's like, dude, you've got such a huge gift. If you don't do this in the next decade, you'll cry. And I went home and I was like, okay, clearly, my parents took me to music school. I didn't want to. I became good at it. I played horns.
Wait, your parents took you to music school and you didn't want to?
Because I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know.
This is the first time.
But now, I see it with my son now.
Oh, okay.
Like the rhythm, the music, everything is in him. Yeah. So I think my parents, that's what they saw, and they took me to, I wanted to play soccer. They took me, and I was, as that kid carrying a trumpet, walking like Nalabelung Lava, and
I've got
at school, you know how it is.
What instruments were you carrying?
I played trumpet.
Trumpet, all right.
And then I played horn, and a bit of trombone.
Nice.
And then from there, I was introduced to the brass band for the school. Then from there, I moved to the orchestra. Yeah, my church, if we beg, it's a huge church, So there's a huge orchestra.
Which church is this?
It's Maphumulo. Maphumulo. We'll talk about it one day.
Right.
But yeah, I played there, and then so obviously because of the studies, I then moved to Pretoria, and I get there. I remember there's a friend of mine, Bishala Song Heights. It's like, the way you love music, let me take you somewhere. And he took me to Guamashwabana at Trishville.
Okay.
I remember it was a Sunday. Julian Gomez, a lot of people don't know his brother, Umich. Julian was still I think he was still in high school.
Yeah.
Because even when I saw him play first time, he was wearing a uniform, Lapane checkboard.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And for me, what stood out was the culture more than the music. Because already I had the music, I was like, the way people dress here, the way people carry themselves. Like, this thing it's a movement, the way people are so heavy. I want to be part of this thing. And I remember at the library, Escole in TUT, those who know, there's a guy, he was the administrator at the library. And he always played this house music, but soulful house. But and then one day I went to him and was like, man, I heard this somewhere. Can you give me like this music? Because at that point, I swear to God, I knew about house, but not like to that extent. I didn't know who the producers were, etc. And then he gave me a folder. From that folder, I was blown away. I was like, what kind of music is this? I got introduced to people like Louis Vega, Real People, Real Soul, And I was like, no, man, I need to dig more. What is this? So because of that, and the energy that I obviously had at the time, I was like, no, guys, let's create something. Errors.
Yeah.
And then I used to buy ama-components okwenza ilokhunjana okwenza i-punch, and I used to do punch because angisho sihleze errors asenzi lutho.
Yeah.
Asinayo imali yokuya Hatfield.
Of course.
We buy punch, we chill there, we call people, and that's how those sessions became like parties now, you know. Every weekend, people knew. So Irazetu became like the place to go for. You get people from Mahalis, people Lechai, everyone just came through on my weekend and would have these parties, you know. And I remember my send-off there was just something else. And then I knew, it's okay, there's this gift that I also have of bringing people together, you know. So when I got to Durban and I found a gap there that was not there, and then I told my friends, I was like, no, guys, we need to do this. And that's how Capello came about, through China again, you know, because then China sees the movement and is like, Mbuso, you're onto something, you know. And we did every last Thursday of the month at Capello. From there, Radio Ikakasi comes on board. Who's this guy? They give me a slot every Thursday.
Nice.
I had residency for the whole year, 2017.
Nice, okay.
So at the time, like the movement was solid. Florida Road, you couldn't touch us, you know. That corner, it was a house music corner where everyone just converged together there, and it was just a movement. And then that's where China's like, no, dude, take this thing seriously. You need to, you know, be who you're supposed to be.
Because you've got the people, you know how to create a party.
Exactly.
The music, you've had that in you. You went to school for it too. Yeah. So it was all aligned. You spoke about you spoke about so many things that I feel like you jump past. And one thing I hate doing is interrupting people when they speak.
Yeah.
Let people go. You spoke about your send-off. What was your send-off like?
Bro, it was so crazy that
before load shedding.
Before load shedding.
All right.
It has these 3 floors. Then those who went to TUT, they'll tell you about Heights. You know, the culture there, everything. It was so packed. I'm a security figure. Because I think also, even not just with the students, even with administration and management, I was just that guy, you know, and I always vouch for peace. And so that day when everyone came, and everyone's like, what is going on? But you know, it's a send-off, Gambus. And the security comes and
they
says,
knew who Mbuso was.
Exactly.
They knew what was
they knew.
Okay.
Yeah. And everyone is like, you know this is not allowed, but it's you. Okay. We give you another 3 hours. So by the time Betlishu Gaze, I think it was 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, you know, and then obviously from there, I start seeing like the culture back at Capello, Newtown, Capitol, you know, and I'm like, this thing is actually a thing. And then I remember seeing about DJ Claude, Umbuso, even Black Coffee at the time, you know, and I'm like, actually, this thing is a thing. I want to be part of this thing. And that's when I started to promote music, promote house music, and promote this thing as a culture. But now when I moved to Durban, then that's where I think it was, I didn't plan to move, but when I moved eventually, I was like, okay, this was my destiny to create this community and brand in this space, which is actually my hometown, you know. So that's been the first sort of breakthrough of my. That's why in Durban I've got such a strong base, because it's people that there was no PR, there was no marketing, there was nothing. It was a community that just believed in this guy.
Mouth, sort of a thing.
Exactly.
That's insane.
And then we find ourselves in the mountain last year.
that was wonderful, man. Let's just move on to that too.
Yeah.
You know what I appreciate about your brand is how you're able, and when you speak, I start piecing things together, how you're able to bring an idea to life, you know, and you can see the ideas are unique.
Yeah.
You can see the ideas, majority of the time I see your posts, it's things I've never seen before. But it's a gap that I was like, why isn't anyone doing this actually? You know? So let's talk about taking people into the mountains as part of you curating events. What is that all about and what is it called?
I think the the fortunate
I'm sure
part,
people, are thinking that we're taking people like.
Oh yeah.
Taking
No. There's no spiritual thing. No.
Before we even get to that, the smell of this thing is indulging me. Happy birthday, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
To the best decade of your life.
Thank you. It's Capricorn season.
Capricorns. You guys are interesting people.
I don't drink on the job, but today I did.
Neither do I. Right, you were still talking about.
Oh yeah. So again, man, like I said, I feel like my story is so organic because everything I do is everything I know. I don't try to do stuff and be someone I'm not. Hence, even with the concept, it was called BU because I said there's a lot of things that are going around. We all know, But for a change, I said, come with me. Let me show you who I am because I am who I am. I can never change who I am. And I think that will also motivate you to become who you're supposed to be. So be you, So we started this thing. There's a friend of mine, Karen, who likes hiking, and he saw a video that I did. Okay, again, like I say, Durban is my hometown, yes, but originally I'm from a village called Maphumulo. I'm blessed, man. Like if I'm at home, I'm looking at the valleys. I'm so blessed, man. Like I look at the valleys. When I wake up to organic air. That's my upbringing. So I then thought to myself, okay, this is where I was born. Let me show people where I come from. And then I did a video with drones from the backyard, literally.
Okay.
Because where I am, there's a gorge,
Hey.
And I was like, let me.
What?
Yeah, literally.
Okay.
And I did the first video, and everyone was just like, where is this? And I'm like, I'm at home. I'm at home. So Karen that sees that video, and he says, bro, I'm so blown away. What are you up to? And I'm like, no, I'm just playing my music the way I know it in my backyard. This is who I am. And he's like, dude, let's do something special for the people. And I was like, I've been watching your videos where you take people to hiking and stuff. What happens when they get there? And he's like, no, I just give them pizzas. And I'm like, you've got 400 people and you just give them pizzas. How about they get there and we integrate? I've got a community. You've got your community. Let's integrate and have a party at the mountains. He was like, are you sure? I'm like, how do we do this? I'm like, no, there's generators, there's, let's, And I remember we went to the first one, we went to Lake Eland. That's the one that trended, where there was two gorges.
The drone.
Yeah, with the drone.
Okay.
And that thing trended. I remember there's a lady, apparently she manages big Hollywood actors. She tried reaching out to me. She was like, who are you? Like, it was wild. Wild. I
know this side, okay.
Yeah, I think on Instagram we did like 1.8 million views. On TikTok it's like 700,000. It was mad.
And it's just you there DJing like this in front of people who are
Literally.
hiking. The view is serene.
Literally.
I'm with Karen. If you told me about this, I would have asked you how, but you never believe in something until you see it. And I mean, it's beautiful how you brought that together.
Yeah.
So are we having more?
Yeah, no, definitely having more. I know that this year, with the partners, we are planning on something super special this year. I think it's going to be around May. So we are planning on the second leg of BU. It's definitely coming. There's a lot that I'm doing this year, man. Like last year, because there was a transition, I've been back and forth between Durban and Joburg.
Yeah.
Because before then, I was just in KZN, So last year, I was just trying to study the market. How are things now? I understand where things are now. So then this year, I'm becoming more aggressive. I've got a residency coming out soon in a beautiful 5-star hotel where, again, it's going to be spreading the community, There's an IP also that, I started. It's called the Tone Society. Tone Society, basically, I just wanted the same like-minded people. If you like music from, for example, Jay Dilla, and you like music from Louis Vega, for example, there's no way that you guys can't love the same thing. It's just that the other one is regarded as hip hop and the other one is regarded as house music. But sonically, it's actually the same.
There's a frequency.
Yeah,
that
so
they're both playing at,
it's about integrating those the alternative sound with the house music sound and the hip hop sound, but bringing a lot of live elements, live instruments. You know, again, the childhood upbringing that I have. You know, presenting this to the people now. You know, so we did a lot of those in Durban, and it really worked. So now we're trying to expand now to Joburg and other provinces. So that is again something else that I'll be doing. But I'm really now focusing a lot on my ensemble. I've got an ensemble with members of the Philharmonic that I play with. So it's a small ensemble, but the impact is huge, man. Like I've got a percussionist, a lead violinist, a cellist.
I don't know how you say small, because I see your videos, man. I ask myself, how does this make any sense? How do you put something like this together? Like, for me, I always like, every time I look at an idea, and I'm sure every guy, you know, when you get to restaurants, like, when you just count things, you know, when you just get to a place and you start calculating. Yeah. And I'm like, how do you even put something like this together? And what is it for? Like, I get so intrigued by that. And it's a beautiful thing to see, because I listen to your music and it's completely aligned. You're just bringing the same thing to life. How and why? Why did you start doing that, first of all? Where are you going with that? And how do you do it?
I won't lie. I study the global scene a lot because I always try and see those who are regarded to be the best. What are they doing differently? You know, even with production in terms of events. Like I always wanted to know, how can I put this thing to the edge? You know what I'm saying? And I realized that there was a niche. Excuse me, because yes, I make music, I play music, but for me to present it so that you understand it well, if I play strings on my music, you understand that there's an actual string, there's an actual percussionist, there's an actual bass, you know, there's an actual person who's playing keys on this thing. So now, if live music, anywhere you go, you know, it's got that edge, you know, and the advantage that I had was that, like I said, back at school, I was exposed to this. Then I was like, actually, because I know how to write music, I know how to transcribe music, let me do this on my own music and present it this way, you know. So I was taking chances because I know that locally, things like these, you know, were still, in a way, taboo, so to speak, you know. So, and people were just blown away. And I was like, okay, I think we're onto something here. And also, I'm very big on loyalty. You know, I'm very big on loyalty. The people that I play with today is people that I started playing with 7 years ago. And I've kept that group. Even in our group, we call each other family members because that's what I believe in, you know. So because of that, they understand the vision, they understand where we want to go. It's been very easy to work with them in that way. And this year, I am certain that they will see more of the Music Man Ensemble. It's purely just how I'm presenting my music with the team, you know, to the world.
Beautiful. As you speak, like I said, piecing things together now.
Yeah.
The ensemble, the people that you rub shoulders with, because I discovered Music Man a year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I see him already with people like Grootman Black Coffee, extremely talented Ntutuzo Makati.
Yes.
The list is endless.
Yes.
But where does that affiliation come from? Besides you coming from the same place, besides you playing the music, what brings you guys together?
I used to ask myself that question.
Because, sorry, I thought you were, I was like, I listened to the music, I was like, this is Black Coffee's ghost producer. It has to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, okay, first things first, Black Coffee has got a huge element in the number of people that inspired me, you know, to do what I do today. Because, like I say, fortunately, the first time I heard Wathula Nje was in Jack Buddha in 2007. Like I say, sonically, I was like, who is this? They said Black Coffee. At TUT first year, I think Christos was doing the freshest bash. I see Shana there. I'm like, who are these guys? And no one knows who these guys are. Next thing, he has changed. I remember, I think he played a set at like 1 o'clock till the sun came out. Black Coffee, yes. And I was like, who, you know, because I've got a way of picking up something that is unique and different. So that time I knew that this guy would be, okay, even more than what he is today, you know. But coming back to your question, it has all been organic. I swear to God, it has all been organic. I remember I was finishing my first studio album. I was working with Griffith Mello. Shout out to Griffith. He helped me with the first album. And someone calls me whilst we were in studio in Pietermaritzburg. And he's like, dude, go on social media. Apparently there's a buzz there. Your name was mentioned. I'm like, mentioned by who? And then I go and check. And Black Coffee is talking to Christos. And so Christos is like, what should happen with the house music and the culture and everything? And then Black Coffee is like, he's seen a few guys in the scene who are doing this thing right, even though they don't have capacity to do it at the level that it's supposed to be. And then he mentions myself, Trev the Japanese. And so in my mind, I'm like, at the domestic space, Black Coffee is seeing what I'm doing. Then there's definitely something right that I was doing. Because again, it was that community that I had, you know. But it's how I was doing things, production-wise, curation and everything, you know. So that gave me, actually that was a huge booster for me, because I was like, if someone like that can see something that I'm doing at a small scale, then let me just do things organically and this thing will grow by itself, you know.
Gotcha.
Same with Nduduzo Makhathini. You know, I was doing a song with Usiadum. They went to school together, you know. There's a song in my first album called Spaces. Did very well. And Nduduzo was actually supposed to be on that song. Because Usia was like, he sent Nduduzo a song like, dude, there's this guy.
I saw Spaces. I think it's the #1 song that you have.
Yes,
actually.
definitely. And there's no lyrics on that song. You know, it's just the sex. Shout out to Usiadum, by the way. And yeah, we did that song. And Nduduzo actually wanted to be on the song. And I remember we went back and forth, and Nduduzo was like, Mbuso, brother, there's nothing that I can do to the song. The song is just perfect the way it is. Best of luck. Similar, you know, to that. I mean, I think I can say it now. I mean, I think 3 weeks ago, Zex reaches out. I'm a fan of Zex's stuff, you know, because another thing that people don't know about Zex, I feel like I always challenge him and say, I was fortunate to see him. Zex used to have like a group. Michael Jackson. Back at school, I was still a junior at the time. And he used to curate. He's another curator of Zex. And he used to have this group, Michael Jackson. He would create the whole show, production and everything for students. You know, and I said, you know, I feel like the world has only had a glimpse of what you are actually capable of. Because from the way he writes, his whole the way he moves, you know, for me, like, shout out to Zex, man, like, it's totally different, you know. Also, I didn't know that he was actually watching what I'm doing, you know. And he says, Mbuso, you need to get into studio together, you know. And again, I'm like, if these people are seeing something that I'm doing when I don't have PR, I don't have any marketing strategy, I'm just doing what I believe, and the right people are falling into place. I think it's just a blessing, man. And like you said, I don't think there's anyone. Vini, come on, Vinny Davins, whoever he is, shout out to Vinny. I call him Ilukunyang. He calls me Khotman. I call him my father. You know, because same, we booked Vinny in Durban, and I was like, Musa, you're special. You've got this thing. Don't take it lightly. And that's how we knew each other. And a lot of people, like, it's been an organic sort of journey. So to answer your question, man, there's no one that I know that, you know, when I'm a back door, what. Everyone is just jamming organic to what is happening. And yeah.
It's crazy how you've maintained that from the beginning of you, man. From what I'm getting, at least from here, is that you've just flowed.
Yeah.
Did what you want, and being you has sort of just worked in your favor. Incredible, man. So, you go, and I'm like, let me get in here. Let me get in here. It's fine. I'm going to leave it as it is. Moving into your attire, I'm amused by how you dress, and it links in so much with everything, because doing this podcast, I've gotten to sit down with a person, let them play their music, let them tell their story, then look at them, and then you get a general picture of where that person is in their mind. But same with you, it's the same thing, and I just appreciate the alignment, man. It's like there's no fake part of it I'm picking up, and I'm hoping that you don't get, because sometimes people start compromising their sound for certain things, and I don't think that's ever going to happen with you at this point. Instead, it's going further into a more this I don't know what the word is for this.
Realness.
Realness. Appreciate that, man. What is with the dress code? Where does it come from?
Okay, for the first time,
it's very consistent, by the way.
Thank you.
In a suit.
For the first time, I'll break it on your podcast, actually, because I've been getting those questions a lot. Last year, 2022, I started fiddling out with a few designs, obviously being inspired by what I see, and then there's a lady in Durban that I would go to if I wanted them maybe to do alterations, and she was like, "You're so unique, and I was like, "Yes, that this is who I am." And then she was like, "What if you gave me your designs and then I put them together for you, and then in a way you dress yourself?"
Scratch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, okay, cool. It's a cool challenge. Let me try it. And I did. These pants that I wear, I designed those pants. Like the stuff, even T-shirts, a lot of stuff that I've been wearing lately is stuff that I designed myself. And I then started to wear those things, And then people are like, "I want this." And I'm like, "Really?" And there's a few guys who now, the lady now helps, and she does these clothes for them using the same designs. And then she said to me, "Do you know that you could do merchandising? I can help you, etc., etc." And I was like, "I know," because I knew it. I was like, "I know, but I don't think I'm ready as yet." But those are the stuff, or those are the garments that I've been designing, Same with the Durban July. Last year, I remember there was this, because I've been going to Nyrox a lot. It's that space for me.
Been Nyrox,
it's so sacred. And I met the lady there, and I got the stuff from them, because it speaks to what who I am, and it just comes. I don't like. Yes, I am inspired by a lot of people, one of the people that inspire me in terms of like the style, is Kanye, I remember back in the day, there's a friend of mine who was at Rez. He used to love hip hop, and I didn't understand it the way I do today. And he introduced me to Kanye with Kanye West's first album. And then I followed who Kanye West was. I think Kanye was the first guy to wear denims in the US, which were slim fits,
Really?
Yeah, and he wore these scarves. So I was like, okay, this guy, if he can do this and people follow what he's doing with the way he dresses, I'm inspired by this. And then Kanye's style then evolved. Before the Yeezys and and the style evolved. So I get inspiration from people like those. Apart from the personal lives, I don't really care about those things. But I always look at, there's a saying that says, we enjoy meat, but there's always bones. So
I don't know that saying.
Eat the meat and leave the bones.
Yeah.
So I'm that guy. If I see something positive, I don't care what the story is. I don't care what. I'll eat the meat and I'll leave the bones. And I think that's what most people don't do.
Yeah.
So even with the style, Kanye, I like his style. There's a lot of guys that then inspired me to think it. So I've just developed this way of dressing myself, and I know people talk about it, but it's just the way I see art, and I'm just grateful to be in that space. Yeah.
Incredible, man. Incredible. I can see it. I can see it. It
like,
really makes sense.
Sorry to cut you. It's like that video that trended, you know?
Yeah.
I just felt like if I'm going to be on the mountain, I need something elevating. I need something that, and I knew that I had to wear kimono.
And my man, when you did this with the kimono, it was like
I didn't know that it was going to be like that.
It was like it was like a throne thing. It was
even
like
the flag, you know, even the flag parts, because I was like, okay, this is South Africa. I was at the airport. I had just landed at King Shaka, and I remember I went to one of the stores. They were like, guys, I need a flag. What do you do? I'm like, no, I'm shooting this thing, because I just saw it being a representation of our beautiful thing, our beautiful country, and that flag alone with that video, excuse me, that's what people are talking about, you know. So I feel like I can't take all the glory. It's just one of the gifts that I have, and thanks for noticing that.
Noticing that, yeah. I was gonna say, you pay a lot of attention to detail, and you're very do you smoke weed or something? Like, I need to know. I have to ask.
Man. I think hey, my parents will kill me for this, but I think we spoke about this earlier on. Like any other kid, you know, you get to varsity, you know, people are doing this, people are smoking weed, people are, you know. I just realized that those things are not for me. Okay. I used to be very paranoid when I smoked, when I did weed.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that was back in the day. So everything you hear from the album, I was sober. Swear to God, I was sober. But I was not sober in terms of just the drugs or you know, that what people take.
Yeah.
I think by nature, I'm already on a high spiritually.
Okay.
You know, I'm a very spiritual person, so I feel like that's where I get my high from. And when, even during the set, when I was playing, there's a time where I felt it that, okay, now I'm in this zone, you know. So I think that's where this whole thing comes from. But yeah, man, like taking substances and it's not my thing, man.
Right,
yeah.
All right. Just random 5 questions.
Sure.
Who would you do a back-to-back with that you haven't done a back-to-back with before?
Sure. That's a difficult one, because
who would best align with what you believe is your sound?
There's a guy that a lot of people are not paying attention to for some reason. And I've been listening to his stuff, and I like his approach. And when I saw the label that he's working with now, Anjuna Deep, I understood why the guy is... There's a guy called Cornelius. Cornelius is, that guy for me, one of the most underrated guys. I'd love to do a one-on-one set with someone who sees music that way, you know. But there's a lot of guys, man. I've done a lot of back-to-backs. But for me, I think Cornelius is the guy.
No? He's another, please hook me up. He's another guy I'd really like to get on the show. I'd really like to get on the show. I mean, I've seen, when I started looking at Afro House, not even house, because South Africa, we will believe we were born with house, you know. And then further on, I think for me, obviously there were elements that we carried on with, but like from 2017, for me, that's when I was like, okay, Afro House, what is this? And he's another guy, really dope, and I can hear it. I can hear that back to back, and it sounds dope. What would you remove from your set if you had to? String instruments or wind instruments?
What would I remove from my set? Sure. I think that's a hard one, man, because all elements make sense in creating that kind of a set. I don't think there's any instrument that I use which is not as important, because we all hear the end product, but you know, so that one is a difficult one, man. Like maybe I'd remove myself as a trumpeter, and still allow other elements to play. But
like
it's
Okay, let me simplify it.
Yeah.
Keys or vocals?
Okay, I can do without vocals.
I heard from you. Say it.
Yeah, I can do without vocals.
Yeah.
I can never do it without
Keys,
harmony.
no?
Yeah.
Without that harmony.
Yeah.
All right. Most iconic set you've ever witnessed?
Iconic set I've ever witnessed. 20 before lockdown, Black Coffee was doing a Africa. No. It was Music is King in Durban. I think what was special about that day, he played after me seeing one of my idols, Tom Mitch. You know,
Tom Mitch,
and I had the privilege of meeting Tom Mitch backstage. That set for him that day, I don't think he's ever played any set like. Well, I've never witnessed any set like that.
Really?
Because for me, playing music it's not just about playing. It's storytelling. You know, DJing, everyone can DJ, but there's only a few people who can tell a story. You know, so how like the whole navigation of his set on that day. I don't know what he was feeling, but for me, that's one of the most iconic sets that I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sad I missed that, but it's okay, man. One unforgettable moment in your career?
Oh yeah, playing on that gorge, man. I've never felt anything like that. Being in that
Really?
space. AJ, when we recorded that set, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. When I started playing, it was dark. I saw the sun come out. I think I was playing my third track. The sun was coming out. Nature. I was seeing birds. I was hearing, like, it was. I've never ever experienced anything like that in my life. Ever.
Serious?
And I'm not surprised how the thing trended. I've never felt anything like that, because with music, it's how it makes you feel. More than anything, it's how it makes. That's why entertainment will never die, because some people go out because they're happy, some go out because, like, it's how it makes you feel, and no one can teach you how to feel. So that day for me, I've never felt anything like that on that mountain, and that was the most memorable thing that I've ever done. Obviously, okay, with the number of people that came through again in the mountain. So those two for me will always
everything
resonate.
just worked that day,
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
It's not a mistake that it trended. This is the secret to trending. One house song I've been listening to for over 10 years.
Oh, come on.
Hey guys, but 10 years is like now, hey?
Yeah.
20 years.
That's
more challenging.
That 20 years.
Yeah.
That one is easy for me.
Serious?
Yeah, that one is very easy for me, because I feel like the house music scene owes this guy so much. It's how, because before he came, we didn't have a lot of producers, you know, like as a commercial level. And when he came, he changed the scene. People started producing, people started believing in themselves again. Like sonically, he changed the whole thing, you know. And the fact that it doesn't release music as how others would, and it's still so consistent, and it's still so, you know, for me, Tulo the song is the best thing. I say Tulo the song is the best thing that happened in the South African music scene, particularly the house music scene, because when he made Webaba, I don't care. I was talking to the Africa Deep the other day, and we were talking about, I think it was us just being, I mean, we are both inspired by Hans Zimmer, you know, the composer. And we were talking about Webaba as a song. If you were to that song, even in the next 2 decades, will still be relevant. So Webaba for me is the best thing that happened in South African music.
I'm learning how to appreciate him. Eh?
Yeah, Tulo,
this podcast has taught me how to appreciate him.
Yeah, Tulo is, we don't give Tulo his flowers that he deserves. Like a lot of people today who are making music, even the Afro sound, remember? Back in the day, it was called the tribal sound. Because for me, these are just two, it's the same sound, it's just that the Afro aspect has added a lot of tech elements into the sound. But it's tribal music because of the drums, the congas, you know. So Utulo played a pivotal role back then, when it was not even a thing. And for him to be so consistent with his own sound, you know, I posted something on Facebook the other day, and I got a bit of a lashing, but people, I still stand by what I was saying when I said Tulo is the best thing that happened in the South African music space, because he's unpredictable, he's super innovative, he's not trying to be like anyone else. He's just, again, be you. Like, he's just himself, and I'm inspired by people like that. And look at how many producers today we have who are doing the sound, and I don't think we give him enough flowers the way you're supposed to. So shout out to Tulo the song, man. Like, Weba, I feel like for me, that's the song that you're talking about.
Yeah. No. I'm getting it now. I'm getting it. I'm not sure if it's the tequila or it's Tulo. Something has me.
No, the
All
gods
right,
are
man.
here.
Big shout out to Tulo, man.
Yeah.
Big shout out to him. Most embarrassing moment in my career.
Oh, Joe. That one is easy.
It's always the easiest one.
That one is easy. That one is
What happened?
Aish.
Let me guess. Pressing Q by mistake. No. Let me take another guess. These are the popular ones. It was pressing Q by mistake. Arriving late to a gig because something happened.
No, I don't.
Okay, third one. The third one that's always popular is falling on stage.
No, I've never.
Okay.
No. This one was, I think how my career started, it was very overwhelming. You know, when I started making music, I remember in Durban, I'm born in January, right?
Okay.
And every year without fail, I throw a party. It was called the Night of the Capricorns, and everyone will be there, right? And I did this launch at Views in Durban. It was massive, packed full to capacity. And then I remember the promoter then, he was like, I think we need to do the actual launch now, where we call all industry people and they come, because we feel like you're the next guy. You know? And I was like, okay, cool. And I said, okay, I'll make this special. I'll bring an ensemble. You know, then it was just three sessionists. And Dear Son, by then, a lot of people didn't know Dear Son, and I was already working with him. You know, and I carried. Never do this as a DJ. Never do this mistake. I did it. I was so embarrassed. I carried 2 USBs, right?
Okay.
I carried 2 USBs with me, and for some reason the other one was not reading.
Hey.
I pressed the first song. It's just written.
So you already started your set.
I already started my set. Everyone was watching. Everyone was there. Everyone. Omonji, Omelon, King's Fiso, Fistas. Everyone, like everyone was there. And I remember the room was red. I'd made, because like aesthetics, I'd made. I'm playing the queuing here. This thing is not happening. And that party, that set, I only played one song, and it was the most embarrassing moment for me. But again, a very good lesson. But that's why now, even though I don't carry as many USBs, but I always make sure that I've got at least 4 backups. Yeah. It was beyond, because
there was no link situation.
They were not linking. That night, that day, I was so embarrassed, man. Like, and the guys kept on asking what's going on, because I played the first song, then it finished, then I re-queued the same song.
Ish.
And I'm like, okay, no, this thing is just.
And now people are watching you.
Man, I felt so shitty.
There's an ensemble.
I felt so. Yeah. So actually, you reminded me of.
No, sorry about that. So I leave that question for last, because after you get that question, you want to answer anything else. But it's interesting to know that you can call sessionists, have all of these people, have a moment like that, and still come back strong.
Yes.
That's the lesson I'm taking from this. Still come back strong, still be able to come back, laugh about it, the courage to even tell it online.
Yes.
All of that is what I appreciate.
It's realness,
because
man.
a lot of people, these are the things that break us down.
Yeah.
These are the things that stop us from moving forward.
Yeah.
We have one moment that just shatters everything. Yeah. And the next moment we try, it doesn't work out and we call it quits.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know, man. It's really dope to know.
Thanks,
Let us move into the music now. Yes, I didn't think this would take around 50 minutes. Which is dope. Yeah. So, in terms of your music, I know you dropped My World recently.
Yeah.
And then you had, it's Amelia, right?
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
what was the inspiration? I just want to see where you started and where you came afterwards with My World. Like, where were you then and where are you now?
Yeah. With the first album, I feel like I say, when I feel like the best music that I compose, I'll speak for myself, is when I'm going through stuff.
Okay.
You know, that first album, I was in a bit of a dark place because of my things that were happening in my personal life. You know, excuse me. And obviously, the best thing was to fall to music. You know, and I remember even Spaces. I'll tell this story to date because it's twofold. Both people who were involved in the song were going through stuff. I was going through stuff, and there's a guy in Durban. He plays keys and he's a producer with Joseph. Then Joseph Dube. I said, Dwana, I've got this melody, man. If I don't do this melody now, it was a cold day, cold. If I don't do this melody now, I'm going to lose it. And there's a reason why I need to do it. Please come and let's work. So he came to my place and we started laying the melody, you know. And even Joseph, he asked me, what's going on, you know. I'm like, no, let's just make music. You know? And we made the song, and it was just the chord progression, right, and the beat. And then I reached out to Usia because Usia, I was playing with him when I was doing our shows. Okay. And I said, Mfana, there's this song that I'd like to make with you. And he's like, Mfana, I'm in hospital. You know, I'm like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm in hospital. Actually, the day we were playing, there's a gig that Simpiwe Shembe done that I was playing with Usia. That day, he was admitted in hospital. And I was like, okay, no, we'll do it some other time. He's like, no. The minute's in Pumala, jail. And a few days later, he calls me. He's like, Mfana, I'm leaving Isbelela. Please organize studio time. I'm like, I don't have Lokunya in the studio right now. And he's like, Mfana, today, I know you can do it. Please. Then I reached out to there's a producer now that works a lot with Mosquito. I remember. Because I spun an and I remember that like it was in some place, man. Like we went there. I was like, yeah, the studios, guys, the studios. Yeah. And Usi, he comes, bro. I was in tears because the state he was in. I was like, Fana, you can't record Uganje. He had lost weight. He was, you know, and he was like, Fana, let's make the song. I swear to God, Sia did one take. Spaces. It was one take. You just listen to the song. He did one take. Said, Mfana, you do the rest. I must go home. And I think that's what made the song so special is Spaces because both people who were going through stuff at the time and sonically, that's just how. That's when you see, later on, when it was better, he was like, because the song stayed with me for quite some time before we released it. And he was like, Mfana, I think Undodozo would be good to be on the same. Undodozo, Makatini, come on. He's like, yeah, Undodozo, we went to school together, and we go on the three-way call, and Undodozo get the song. Later on, Undodozo come back. He's like, my brother, there's nothing that I can do to the song. This thing is complete. So I feel like that was the first, experience with my first album. Right. And then my second album, obviously, I'd grown as a person, I'd grown sonically, I'd grown as, in the music industry, understood the industry more, and I understand what, I always hear people talk about that overseas, my chords are Spani. I feel like that truth is a bit untrue. Because I look at labels like Anjuna Deep, I look at what Lee Barrage and Our Lost Desert are doing with All Their Dream. The chords there are actually what makes their movement so big, And studying those scenes, I then was like, I'd love to do something similar or, something similar, but still keeping it here at home. That's why now the drum progression or the drum arrangements would be the way that I do them, So yeah, my world was literally that. But I dropped the album. Another thing, I did a nice EP, a beautiful EP with shout out to MXO, I did an EP with
Hey, you want to
MXO.
call with MXO? I'm like, what are you doing talking to MXO? You have no business talking
It's
to
my
MXO.
brother, man.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's a legend. That's a legend.
That is dope, man.
I
Of
get a lot of
course.
advice from
Massive
him.
shout out. Yeah.
So yeah, we released the Ilo Kunjani EP.
That was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
But I can also, I could tell, I don't know how, that there's a hip hop element in it.
Yeah.
I could always tell. And it's the old school hip hop.
Yeah.
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 Yes, the ammunition.
Yeah, I know I'm there.
I could pick it up.
I'm there. So yeah, there's more music definitely. Like on the set, I was playing a few songs that I've been working on in studio. So this year, people can expect more music from me. You know, I know I recently dropped an album, but I feel like one thing that I told myself is that at least this year I must release nothing less than maybe 25 songs. And I'm expecting a lot of collaborations. I've collaborated with a lot of people. So for me, it's just a journey, you know. Like I said, even to yourself, you know, why aren't we collaborating, you know? Because I feel like it's only that way. Because personally, it's like this conversation. It's organic. You can see that it's not scripted. It's not. It's the energy, and I work with energy, you know.
Of course.
So in that way, that's how we can grow this thing and take this thing to where it's supposed to be. So yeah, this year, man, it's just music and more music. Like I said, the residency that I'm doing, people will see, again, like you say, like we'll be doing stuff that people haven't done before. I can't divulge on that a
Appreciate
lot.
that so much. I love that, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's in a nutshell, you know.
In closing, because, yeah. what, you've been at it for a good 10 years.
Yeah.
Plus.
Yeah.
You've rubbed shoulders with great people.
Yeah.
You've had your ups, you've had your downs. Yeah. You guys have gone into tricky studios in tricky shapes and conditions just to make one of the best songs you've ever made come to life. What is it that you can tell the next producer or the next music composer to, you know, to just keep at it when those times come? Because it's inevitable.
Yeah. I experienced this myself, you know. There's a very easy trap that we all fall into of trying to look for, you know, what is popping, where's the direction going now.
Yeah.
It's like this thing where they say this sound works in South Africa. I don't understand that thing. Some people do. It's okay. But I feel like to young producers out there, music comes within. You'll never know. Just make what you are feeling, because it's like what Rick Rubin was saying in one of his interviews, and I think he's repeated it in a few interviews. Society, or the listeners in this context, they don't know what they are looking for. So we have a responsibility of feeding them. But now you find that they'll say, no, on the streets, this is what's working. But who gave the streets the music? You know what I'm saying?
True.
Who gave the streets the music? Whatever they're vibing to now is what they were given.
They didn't know they
exactly.
needed it.
So they don't know what they don't know until they know. So you do what you know and give the people what you know. And then people will resonate with what you know. And people always like the real thing, and they'll go for the real thing. So just be yourself, do what you believe in, close your ears, open your eyes. That's how I look at it. Even for me, that's how I do it, you know. And it works. You might not be the biggest, most trending thingy, but trust me, you can be very consistent and be happy.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Be happy while still doing it. And so just be you, man. Realness pays. Just be yourself. The right people will come to you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, massive shout out, bro. Thank you for dropping so much wisdom and history on us, man.
Thanks
please,
for
when you
me,
have your next BU situation,
Yeah.
we know you've got communities. We know you've got your people. We know you don't need us. But
No,
drop a poster.
no,
drop a poster.
No.
Campaign,
Yeah.
so we can see and we can be a part of it.
Definitely,
You know?
definitely.
It sounds like something I need. you know, as I've started getting, I'm not gonna say older, more mature.
Maybe even have this podcast.
That would be dope.
On the thing.
Have a vibe there. You know?
Yeah.
I thought you were making a podcast when you shot all of that dope content because it only makes
like
sense.
Like I said, there's a lot that's coming. There's a podcast that's coming. I don't want to talk about it a lot, but it's under the Tone Society banner. There's a lot of content that's coming this year. I don't want to give out too much, but yeah. But
now we need it, man. Yeah. We need it. Thank you so much, dude, for coming through.
Thanks for having me, bro.
We are following you at...
Oh, it's musicman_SA everywhere.
Musicman_SA everywhere.
Thanks for having me.
That mix, just go back and listen to that mix. Do yourself a favor. Massive shout out, AJ's house. Thank you so much, Machi.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Man.
Happy birthday once again. Happy birthday.
Appreciate it.